You're exhausted, not just tired, deeply drained. Waking up feels like a burden. Everything irritates you. You used to care. Now you just feel numb. That's not laziness. That's not weakness. That's not just being tired. That might be burnout. And it's more than just fatigue. It's a psychiatric issue that deserves real attention. What is burnout, really? Burnout is a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion caused by prolonged stress. It was first studied in the context of high-stress professions, healthcare workers, teachers, first responders, but now it's everywhere. Students, creators, parents, managers, remote workers. Anyone can burn out because it's about pressure without relief. It's not just I'm working too hard, it's I'm giving more than I have and I'm running on empty. The 3 dimensions of burnout. Psychologists describe burnout as having 3 core features. Emotional exhaustion. You feel worn out, like there's nothing left inside. You're running on fumes. Depersonalization. You start to detach from others. You become cynical, irritable, numb. You stop caring. Not because you don't want to care, but because you can't anymore. Reduced personal accomplishment. You feel ineffective, unmotivated, and like nothing you do matters. Even small tasks feel overwhelming. Sound familiar? Why it's not just fatigue. Fatigue is about energy. You rest, you recover. Simple. Burnout is deeper. It doesn't go away with a nap or a weekend off. It lingers. It eats away at your sense of purpose. You might sleep 8 hours and still feel crushed. You might go on vacation, but come back dreading everything again. That's because burnout isn't about tired muscles. It's about a tired soul. The psychiatric toll of burnout. Here's where we need to pay close attention. Burnout isn't just a workplace issue. It's a mental health crisis in disguise. It overlaps with depression, anxiety, trauma, and even PTSD. Many people with burnout meet the criteria for psychiatric disorders. They just don't realize it. And in some cases, untreated burnout leads to clinical depression, substance use, sleep disorders, chronic anxiety, panic attacks, suicidal thoughts. So when we say burnout is a psychiatric issue, we mean it literally. It affects the brain. It rewires your stress response. It changes your personality over time. And yet, many people brush it off. They think they just need to push through. But what happens when there's nothing left to push with? Why burnout is so dangerous? The real danger of burnout is invisibility. It doesn't show up on a lab test. It doesn't leave a scar. But inside, you're unraveling, and society often praises that unraveling. We admire the overachiever, the hustler, the one who never gives up. We reward overwork. We glamorize exhaustion. But burnout doesn't make you stronger. It makes you disappear, be it from your joy, your relationships, your own life. Who's most at risk? Burnout can affect anyone, but certain groups are at higher risk. Healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, therapists, teachers and social workers. Those who give more than they get. Parents and caregivers, especially single parents or those with no support. High performers, perfectionists, type A personalities, students and young professionals trying to prove themselves nonstop. People of color, immigrants, and marginalized communities facing systemic pressure with little validation. Burnout is not a weakness. Often, it's a side effect of being too strong for too long. What causes burnout? The causes of burnout aren't just long hours. It's deeper than that. Here are some root triggers: lack of control, feeling trapped, no say in your workload, schedule, or goals, unclear expectations, never knowing what's enough, constant fear of falling short, toxic workplaces, bullying, micromanagement, favoritism, gaslighting, all common, isolation, doing everything alone, no real support system, value conflicts, working in environments that go against your ethics or beliefs, unrelenting pressure, constant performance, no room to breathe, fail, or rest. It's not just about working too much, it's about working without meaning, respect, or balance. How to tell if you're burned out? Burnout creeps in slowly. You might notice you dread waking up, you feel numb to things that once brought joy, you snap at people easily, You procrastinate more, even on simple tasks. You feel like a robot, just going through the motions. You fantasize about quitting everything, disappearing, or starting over. If this sounds like you, pause. Don't judge yourself. Burnout doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've been trying too hard, for too long, without enough support. Why we must treat it like a psychiatric issue. Too often, burnout gets handed off as a productivity issue. Maybe you just need better time management. Maybe you should take a weekend off. Maybe you should drink more water and stretch. No, burnout is not a calendar problem. It's not solved by a planner or a podcast. Burnout is a psychiatric red flag. It's your nervous system screaming, something is wrong. And like any mental health condition, it deserves proper attention. That might mean talking to a therapist, taking medical leave, considering medication, getting family or workplace support, rebuilding your life in a sustainable way. Healing from burnout. Healing isn't about quitting your job and moving to the mountains, although that might sound appealing. It starts with permission. Permission to rest, permission to feel, permission to ask for help. Then comes reflection. What drained me? Where did I override my needs? What boundaries do I need to set? Who do I need in my corner? Then comes rebuilding, not into your old self, but into a stronger, more balanced one, someone who chooses sustainable service over self-sacrifice. Someone who knows that burnout isn't a badge of honor, it's a warning. Final thoughts. So, why is burnout a psychiatric issue, not just fatigue? Because it changes how you think, feel, and relate to the world. Because it damages your self-worth, your joy, your sense of safety. Because it's not just tiredness, it's the slow erosion of the self. You're not weak for feeling burned out. You're human, and you don't have to stay stuck there. Burnout is a message not to quit life, but to return to it with gentleness, with boundaries, with balance, because your mental health matters, not just when it's falling apart, but every single day you keep showing up.